Hello, welcome to the world of Word.
Coming up, another word in your attic.
And if you enjoy this, visit our Patreon to find out more about our exclusives and our general work of national importance.
The link is in the notes below. And now, on with the show.
Word in your attic, a Zoom with a view.
So, welcome to another Word in your attic, and we're joined by James Hyman. James, good morning. Where do we find you?
You find me at home in central London, and you find me slightly tired because you set me not a Herculean task, not a Sisyphean task, if that's the right thing. I'm pushing the boulder up and down, but you got me on a hunt. You did get me, like, I didn't realize the enormity of your, because I love you all, both of you. I had to really, do this well. I didn't want to just say, oh, who's this? So I went a bit hardcore and I had quite a late night.
But also it could be said that you, as opposed to a lot of other people, have the most massive collection of stuff, don't you? I mean, at your disposal.
Here's the dilemma, and this is what gave me the angst, and thank you for it, because maybe that angst will turn into therapy. My dad always said to me, and he still says it, thank you, don't let your possessions possess you. Okay. Now, people then say to me, well, hold on a minute, you got like the world's largest magazine collection. I said, yeah, that's off-site. I don't live with it. It's kind of out of my life. But, you can see behind the books, things encroach, big DVD collection. I culled that, the CDs. It is hard. It's hard. And then when you said to me, find some objects, I just started going, well, I've got to do this properly and look. And I realized there was a lot. And so, yeah, I have a lot of stuff.
You certainly do. You have the world's largest magazine collection, the Hyman Archive, which is still down at Woolwich Arsenal. Is it? Is that where it's all kept?
It is still there. We're easing lockdown. I mean, if the odd person is allowed in at the moment, so but yes, physical access is difficult.
How many magazines have you got down there? Do you have a number you give people?
Lost count. It's clearly over 150,000. Clearly. Okay, right. Donations coming in every day. One from the University of the Arts yesterday. Gives me an excuse actually to show one of my first objects.
Go on. What you got? Oh, right. Oh, that's an actual Guinness World Record certificate.
That is a Guinness World Record certificate. And at the time I got this in 2012, yeah, it was 50,953. And it's easy. It's probably one of the only Guinness records that breaks itself every day.
Right.
Magazines, unless you're the guy who's got the longest fingernails and your fingernails grow a quarter of an inch every day, you also. There it is. That's the first object. Glad I got that
one.
That's
very good. Very good. What else you got there?
Too much. You see, look what you did to me. I kind of divided it into three little sections, kind of childhood. Yeah, the other dilemma I faced, I didn't want it to be, too egotistical. Wow, look at me exalting, because a lot of objects are personal. You might have them to ease your ego, to say, oh, I got that nice autograph, or look, there's a picture of me with so-and-so. So I've actually kind of got rid of a lot of those. I didn't want to be, you guys as well, you probably got your, presentation discs and this, that, the other, with scrapping those. So yeah, I had like kind of a few little, so it's like three sections, maybe youth growing up, I can whiz through quickly, like as a youngster. MTV years. Again, I'm not going to do the MTV presentation disc, but some very interesting stuff when I was at MTV in those days. And then just a few little magazine things to just...
Okay, carry on. We're in your hands.
Okay, here's a random one, actually. I don't know. This was probably from the teenagers.
Far away. That's absolutely fantastic.
Sorry?
That sounds fantastic. Come on, far away.
Well, this isn't from youth. This is maybe from teenage. This is one lock of the king's hair.
What?
Good God, that's astonishing. How do you know it is? Is there any verification?
Very good question, Mark, because on the back you have the provenance.
Right. The king's hair. How did you acquire that?
Okay, I'll tell you. But the king's hair, by the way, is basically, it was acquired from Mastronet Inc. He got friendly with his barber. Apparently, the barber used to cut Gladys and Vernon Presley's hair. And he met Elvis, and it says here, started his personal and business relationship with him, which basically meant every time Elvis left the building, he scooped up all the hair, put it in a bag, and then sold it.
Personal business.
Yeah. I think if my memory serves me correctly, I hope there were no false memories today. I got this from a place I adore and worship, hence calling it church. It's the Music and Video Exchanges in Notting Hill, which I'm very sad. I love them. There's a book one, there's a record one, there's a clothes one. I'm zoned in on the book one a lot at the moment because they have a lot of magazines there. But they used to have a thing called like rarities, where upstairs you could get the weirdest stuff like, I don't know, the suit worn by Neil Tennant in this video, Genesis Theologist, a mold of his middle leg, weird stuff. I'm pretty sure I got this there, not for a fortune, So there you go. That's Elvis's
That's
thing.
That really
is
is
a conversation
fantastic
piece.
James, that's up there with David Bowie's cigarette butt.
Yeah, we got David Bowie's cigarette butt and Elvis's hair. Carry on. Okay, so again, just pull me up if I get a bit too egotistical and ego here. Let's just quash. It's all right. It's all right. Go carry
on. Here's a few quick random kids ones. Now, again, it was nice you setting me this task because it was therapy. It made me think like what lockdown's done to me. This was my old diary when I was like 8, 9, 11. Look at the writing.
Look. Oh, hold that up. Oh, fantastic.
Amazing.
But what was in here, again, just some random ephemera, like these Treeborn Mint, whatever, mummies, sweets with stories on the back. But you could see where the collecting starts, Disneyland start, my lucky coin.
Fantastic.
So the diaries, and look, everyone knows, I think when you're a collector and arguers, diaries and everything are lovely. Yes, they are egotistical, but if you keep them private, it's nice to remember what was going on. And I tell you read something like this, and it really takes you back to sort of.
I bet it does.
Where you were. Okay. Yeah. So, this is just fallen out of the packaging, but there's a nice little Star Wars Pez.
Oh.
With look how simple.
It's a compulsion, isn't it?
The little maze. Now you've just got me on a good one here. Where is it? Yeah. Actually, that reminded me of you, Mark. The sort of the intense eyebrows there. Right? But this
quizzical
that's
eyebrows.
Eerie. I want to see that again. That's extraordinary. That is Mark Millen to the life.
What I like is these haven't expired yet. Look. This is for age 12 to 112, so there's still got a lot of usage in this. This was an invisible ink quiz game. Look what we used to have to do as kids. Invisible ink games. Yeah,
really? I remember those. You had to colour over them, didn't you, with a kind of white pen?
Yeah.
And then they suddenly turned yellow or whatever. That's right.
Correct. But I like, as I say, long lasting.
Brilliant.
Talking of long lasting, which. This shows, again, a beautiful period in time, and I guess lockdown's given us a weird sense of time, but this is, again, very, very telling in terms of the pace of the world. I obviously, before I got collecting the magazines, I started with comics, not the kind of superhero stuff, but things like Beano, Dandy, Whizzer and Chips. Now, this is Jackpot. Okay, I don't know if any of you remember Jackpot.
No, that's a new one on me. Go on.
Okay, with
it's sponsored by R. White's Lemonade, by the looks of things.
Well, this what I think is such a beautiful little moment in time. So it says here, it's competition time again. Someone is going to win a bath full of lemonade. You couldn't do that. Literally, your kid is going to literally sit in a bath full of lemonade. But note the date. I'm going to take my glasses off here. Note the date. 27th of October, 1979 was when when this was advertised. No email, no texting. You wrote the thing and sent it into IPC or whatever. And almost a year later, 2nd of August, 1980, that's the dude who filled your bath of lemonade. Who was it? Graham. Hold on. West Ham striker Stuart Pearson. Right.
So what were you expected to do when you've got a bath full of lemonade? Bathe in it or drink it or what?
Get your friends over for some social distancing or whatever, drink it.
So it's pretty much a year later that came to its fruition.
And you think now, quick, enter text, boom, you've won, haven't won. So I love that time. This probably was for my brother, Blondie's fan club.
Right. That'll have fallen out of an album.
Like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Another bit of ephemera here, a British Telecom thing, telling you to show your telephone number. And then do you remember dial-a-disc or whatever, 161?
Oh, go on. Yes.
Numbers.
So you could
So
these were premium phone services.
Yeah, the original Spotify hits from the 60s and 70s. Dial 246-8044.
How much would that cost you?
Did you ever do it? Can you remember doing that?
No, but I did 161. It was just like some recorded message, and I don't know, it played a couple of hits. 161 was the number. Remember this little beauty?
Well, is that a cassette head cleaner?
No.
Is that a thing for putting a small cassette inside a big one on a video?
What do they call it? It was a TV. It was that dude. What's the Sinclair TV?
Oh, what?
Yeah, I haven't powered it up. It was black and white, obviously great for watching snooker. But under the covers, as at school, you know, I was a weekly boarder, and this was a lifesaver, age 14, 15. It's a TV. So there you go. A couple more. You really, you unearthed. You got me unearthed. Do you remember these? Like Game & Watches?
Oh,
no, go.
So very, very early computer game, wasn't it?
Very primitive handheld computer games. I mean, literally, you just whacked them all, bang, whack it, bang, you know. Right. And it was so. But again, that beauty of time. You know, kids today, the flipping around. This kept you occupied for weeks, months. It was so simple.
Yeah.
I think we're nearly done with kids. When I was a kid. Any others? Hold on. I think we're done on that little section. Oh yeah. Then music starts.
Right. That's the fourth now.
Which has a patent pending. I don't know if that's shown there.
Oh, really?
So no barcode. Very rare.
Give us some of the tracks on that.
Duran Duran, The Reflex, Ghostbusters, The War Song, John Waite, Missing You, OMD, Locomotion. Only 15 tracks on here. Queen ending the CD. Apparently, Queen, I think since they would always be like, we got to be track one on the compilation, but they ended that now for.
Oh, really?
So right. This is early 80s, isn't it, right?
Yeah, it was what, 84?
Yeah.
84. Yeah. Patent pending. So that's a little... You know, the CDs, I've still kept the CDs. They haven't been culled yet. Right. So, one more from the youth. Now, this is a personal thing, but it's not like my name or an autograph. My parents gave me this picture, and I love it. I don't really know who the artist is. I've not investigated the artist, but that kind of montage of newspaper, maybe that was an early seed of my love for print. But I love this image here. You know, and it's got little news stories. Kind of, I don't know who it is. I've never really investigated. I just love that. Again, it could be a thing where that image just haunted me as a kid in a nice way. And then I've just kind of always, you know.
It looks faintly David Bowie, Lindsay Kemp mime era to me.
Yeah.
It does a bit.
It could be. I don't know. I can't see a date on this, but I'd have to. Is it newspaper people? I will investigate.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
That is that.
It's good that you kept it.
It's what? Yeah.
It's good that you kept it.
And actually, if we're talking a couple of frame things, I know I'm flipping around because I unearthed these. Again, I don't really have an attic. It was a lot of stuff hid behind those shelves. Do you do that with your records, David? Anything like hidden behind them? Do you hide things?
I don't know. There might well be.
Yeah. So I found these in a cupboard. Beautiful New Yorker cartoon.
Oh, right.
That was from, hold on. 2008, where, you know, the Amazon delivery, yet next door she doesn't really get that she's got a bookshop. The onslaught of Amazon.
Oh, I see. That's when Amazon arrives.
Historic moment.
Yeah. Which again in lockdown, they're
doing it. They're doing it all the time in lockdown. They're all lockdown covers of the New Yorker at the moment.
Yeah. And this one as well, from when was this? 2010. I never hung these up. They were just literally in the back of a cupboard. But the book's quivering behind the digital device.
Oh, really? Oh, they're nervous. They're nervous because of the onslaught of the digital device. It wasn't, though, was it?
Yeah.
Sorry?
The digital you've got mail, isn't it? The death
Exactly.
mail.
Okay, good. Right. Okay, sorry. It's like an exorcism for me to get rid of this. Okay. Bit of ephemera, YouTube backstage, pop thing. I didn't really keep... You know what? Again, you got me a bit upset because it made me realise I've chucked so much of my ephemera over the years.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think that was in the early 80s. You guys might know.
I don't know. Is that a backstage pass, or is that just a ticket, or what?
I think that was the ticket. I didn't really keep all the tickets because, you know. Oh, there was one more. Hold on, one more. Lots of cassettes unearthed, which, again, your relics, things you love. I mean, going old school. Do you remember people used to leave you messages on a cassette little phone? And I kept all those. And you go back and listen to those messages. Eerie and, like, you know, goosebumpy. There was a thing about some guy, I think it's when his father passed away, he made this amazing sort of art collage of all the voice messages his dad left him, like in some chronological order. You know what I mean? So the voice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the voice on cassette. I've got hundreds of these. Again, unplayed. Don't even think I've got a cassette recorder anymore. But, you know, maybe one day. Again, the adverts.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day.
Which reminds me of
I can't believe that.
Which reminds me of a note, you see. Again, you made me think of that amazing Twilight Zone episode. Burgess Meredith, Time at Last, this voracious book reader who's being nagged by his wife, stop reading, stop doing this. And then he goes one lunch break underground. If I remember this correctly, I think it's right. He works in a bank, and then he comes out, very like what we're going through now. He comes out into an apocalypse. The world's literally, he's the last man on earth. And he's like, oh, brilliant. Going to read all the books. And then he treads on his glasses. And that's how I'm feeling. That's how you've made it. Yeah.
Very good.
One last video game. Hold on. That one.
Good Lord. Great electronic mini arcade game. Good.
Trying to get the kids to play these, you know.
Yeah. Have you still got the price on that?
Well, from W.H. Smith, yeah, it was $29.99 from W.H. Smith.
Oh, it's quite a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's the price of a Nintendo game now.
Yeah.
Right. Where are we going to go to now?
MTV, you said?
MTV, well remembered. Now, one of the best, I think, mementos is this. This is a piece of the Berlin Wall.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, because
go on.
Well, when it came down, you were probably there, David. You were at VH1, right?
Yeah.
That time, didn't we? I think we all got.
Probably not that time, but anyway, go on. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we all got given a piece of the Berlin Wall, and that history, which I'm going to talk about a lot, I think, throughout this session. People.
Why did they decide to do that? That's really interesting.
It was when the wall came down.
No, but why? Why did they?
Why? I could answer that question in a book behind me, but we probably don't have time. I will just show you some quick reference sourcing.
Go on. It would be all part of it. It was MTV Europe, wasn't it? We brought the youth of Europe together. We were instrumental in bringing down the Berlin Wall. Us and the Scorpions.
That's right. We changed history and pop culture. That's right.
So this guy who wrote the book, your answer will be in here. Bill Roddy.
All right. What makes business rock?
Okay, he will talk a lot about, because there's that great picture of one of the soldiers with an umbrella on the wall as it's coming out. So the answer, everyone, is in there.
All right.
MTV. Right. We also, I seem to have a lot of MTV toilet paper. Which in lockdown.
Sorry. Is it branded empty? Oh, that's brilliant.
Which I didn't have to use in lockdown. Okay.
So MTV used to have its own bog roll. I never knew this.
I think this was limited edition. I don't think it was regularly manufactured. A couple of random watches. I didn't get into collecting watches, thankfully. That would have been very expensive pastime.
No, sure.
So the video musical.
Watches. Right.
MTV Fez when they launched in Istanbul or Turkey. Yeah, I kept that.
They wouldn't be doing that now.
It's like racial stereotyping, I think.
Very true. We're going to get onto. Now, I'll tell you, again, highly OCD, and I really want to do this one day again. Not for me, for the content, for what it... So I produced basically all the dance shows there for about 12 years, and it was fortunate enough to, interview, I didn't, the presenters did, Prodigy, Chemical Brothers, Goldie, Moby. All these people were seen first before again, they kind of blew up. But VHSs, I've got a VHS of every single show I did, and I would love, for academic purposes only, not commercial, for this stuff to all be digitized and seen, because it's not just the interviews, it's not just the videos, it's the adverts, it's all the peripheral content.
Yeah. That's the stuff.
And that's exactly the same with magazines, isn't it? It's the adverts, that people wore at the time. You know,
that's the strength of magazines as mementos. It's not the editorial; it's the advertising. It's very often
it's the recontexting. When we get to the magazine stuff, you're getting me excited, because I don't want to belittle the Black Lives Matter, but magazines matter. Right? I don't want to belittle that important hashtag and all lives matter, Black Lives, whatever the matter. But magazines matter, because they're contextualizing this whole deleting history. You know, have that, educate, discuss. But we'll get to now. These just a sample. I unearthed a bag, like 100. I wish I'd kept maybe more. These again. This wasn't to me; it was to the presenter in the show. But we'd get incredible, mail.
And fan letters and kind of,
but it was but the level of it was, and the one that stands out for me, which I can't actually find, but it was things like, I'm living in Croatia or Serbia or whatever, my house is being bombed, rockets, war, but if you could just play the Prodigy, that's fine. Don't worry, I'm being bombed.
All right.
And you get these just bizarre, whatever, life, we're being bombed, but just play the Shame and Forever People, no problem. So there you go.
Yeah.
More, and again, intense writing, like just from people.
We remember all that from the Smash Hits days, when sacks of mail used to write.
Yes.
Sacks, all written in coloured crayons. People pressing terribly hard.
Okay, we're whizzing through quickly, and I thought, right, this again. So sorry, pull me up on the ego self me, but I did randomly find this again. I had this once before, I think, when he died, and I just found it weird because I don't really have a memory of this. This is a legal letter from Harbottle and Lewis, and Lewis solicitors, where maybe I shouldn't really sort of go into too much detail on it, but it was a legal letter. Where I was allegedly, I don't think I went to court, I was a witness for Prince, because he was suing someone he basically badmouthed somebody. And they got me in as a witness because I was a script writer, and I had said something, one of the presenters had said something from a magazine saying, whoever this person, I can say, it's probably public. It was Steve Farnoley and Prince Rogers Nelson. So Steve Farnoley was the manager, and I think Prince called him Jughead, or allegedly called him Jughead. But they like carved up a witness statement for me. And it's just, again, the ephemera, the letters are good. A whole witness statement that it is interesting reading, but I won't bore everyone reading it. Maybe
right, it's amazing.
Yeah,
extraordinary.
They like got transcripts of everything that was said on MTV for like 2 years or something to prove that one of the.
That's what my learned friends do to justify their huge bills.
Exactly. We're going to have to read through every one of these letters, and but now digitized would speed that up.
Yeah.
I think we've done the MTV pretty quickly as well. That was it. Now, no. Here we go. This is good for social distancing. This came around the time of MTV. Because again, when I was producing all these dance shows, Rave, the board game.
Oh my Lord.
Now, I'll tell you who would be good also to give you more detail on it, and you might want to get him on one day, is Mark Moore from Essex Express. Because he collects board games.
Okay.
But I don't think I ever played this. I mean, this is the pieces without them all falling. There was apparently
Rave,
so what's the idea that you throw a dice and then you finish up in a field?
In a field.
Somewhere outside the M25, sitting on a haystack. With eyes like, hubcaps.
What do? Well, you basically, the board, what does it say here? Take out the vibe cards, dance cards, flag. One side. what do you have to do here? You kind of, the M25 can be recognized by the fact that it's got 3 dotted lines on it.
Just the M25.
I don't know what you do. I think there's Trip City at the center of the board. You've got to get to Trip City.
Oh, God.
It's a game for 6 clubbers. Take out, and then punch out the dancing playing pieces. Police car, police helicopter, diversion counter, speaker side, and psychedelic wow trick from the sheet. I think you just got to get to Trip City and avoid the police.
So it didn't turn out to be a classic, a perennial of the board game repertoire, did it? I think Monopoly can sleep soundly in its bed.
Yeah.
But Rave, the board game, is never gonna take over. But but at least James has kept it. That's good to know.
And Mark Moore. But if a police piece lands on a hex, which is next to you, it constitutes being in the paranoia zone. Very weird. And there was 2 psychedelic dice somewhere that if you keep them, you got good marketing. You got special offers from the people who made the game. Anyway, the Rave game.
Right. It never happened.
It was limited
edition.
It
never happened. Yeah. So have you got some old magazines there?
I have got some old magazines. Just before I get to the magazines, something again I found that I kept, which doing some producing. I've got Channel 4's compliance manual here.
Oh, right.
But for me, the most interesting thing in here is in editorial section 3, 3.8 says, please note that the Channel 4 board has undertaken to the ITC that Shaun Ryder will not appear live on Channel 4.
It actually says that?
Yeah, can you see it? I don't know if you can see it.
Remind us what he'd done to deserve that.
Didn't he swear live on the word?
Was that all it was? It was.
I think.
But again, he actually got into the compliance.
I don't know. Maybe.
That is fantastic.
That's brilliant.
Okay, so all right. Well, yeah, we're on to the last section. We've done well. We've whizzed through. Where do we begin? As that famous song went. Well, something that will cheer you guys up.
Oh, right, God. First issues of Heat.
Well, the preview.
Right.
The preview issue.
Oh, you got a pretty... Wow. Oh, good God. Not sure
That's
even I got
issue,
one of those.
Very good. Very good.
I was on that too.
Yeah. Well, okay, I got a load of dummies up at the top of here, actually.
Have you?
I got dummies of Q and things like that.
Yeah, I've got all those. So I've got a Mojo and a Q. I've got the Heat as well. Yeah. Will they be worth anything? Who knows?
It's worth it if someone wants it. That's one of the smallest magazines in the world.
Oh,
what? Tiny magazine.
Is it legible?
I think it was just pictures. There's hardly any words in it. It looks like it's like a flick book. I don't know, random. Yeah. Okay. This I found, again, I obviously just kept this, as something that came free with the magazine. Do you remember that magazine cover? It was like The Week. It was A5 and it was a kind of aggregation of little bits and pieces out of other magazines. But
yes. Go on.
Their free gift was some sand. And the tagline here said, "This sand may be the closest you come to Naomi Campbell." So I think they may have fetched some sand on a beach she walked on. Will that be worth anything? Will these be worth anything? This is very kind of Turner Prize. I'm going to get the novelty stuff out the way, then we go serious to end, I reckon.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice magazine is a piece of wood. That's all it is, with an advert on the back. Just
a piece of wood with an advert on the back.
Yeah. Okay. Now, the magazine costs, here you go, it costs £7.50. And in my folly or genius, whatever you want to say there, I don't want to get the ego going. There were 3 different ones. There's 2.
Oh, right.
That's the 3rd.
And one is how long that lasted?
3, I would imagine.
One issue.
One issue.
Oh, right.
One issue with 3 covers. But it reminded me of the KLF thing where they carried on their money pranks and they nailed sort of £10 notes to things and sold them, I think, for less than the actual notes.
Oh, really?
Well, they did it the other way around. They did something. There's a very good KLF. I must give a big up. Good guy, Chris Atkins, has done an amazing KLF documentaries coming out, really deep about them. So there you go. Right, now I think the novelties are out the way. A few more, and Oz, the Schoolkids issue.
Oh, there it is.
Now, the reason I think again relates to you because somebody contacted us, and I think they are you. Whether you know or not, hopefully you do know. But I think they're doing a documentary about your 1970s.
Yeah, it's coming out quite soon. Yeah.
They asked for this, and again,
so you lent them your copy.
They wanted it scanned. We gave them a scan.
Right.
So they're obviously going to be talking about it. But again, very locked down. You know, the counterculture, the protesting, and it says here as well, start thinking about creative new uses for money since its present function will soon end. Remember, paper, particularly tissue, will be in short supply.
How's that? That's the issue with the famous illustration of Rupert Bear involved in sexual congress, which caused the real trouble.
I remember.
I hope Rupert Bear's out of copyright.
All in jail, wasn't it? Yeah.
Well, they nearly, and wasn't Felix Dennis called a genius, so he got his sentence reduced or something?
No, he was called
less intelligent than the other two.
You're clearly the least intelligent of the three, which drove him for the rest of his career.
I'm just trying to find that Rupert Bear. Hold on, I can't find it.
But that actually was what sent him off on this trajectory. Prove them wrong.
Definitely. Can't say. Right. Okay. Rupert Bear involved in sexual congress. Finally, can be told.
Be showing?
Sorry.
How much of that should we be showing?
We'll black that a bit out.
Well, this is the thing. Okay. Now this. So hold on. I'm just looking here. Yeah, this is it. There's obviously a lot of the time I think pre-internet, post-internet, pre-COVID, now post-COVID. Now this is going back to a key matter of the moment, race. Now, you know, people tearing down the statues, getting rid of stuff, banning. Look, I don't want to get political. Don't want to get into. I don't know. What do you both think about all that deletion of stuff, actually?
Well, that's a complicated theory. It's a long discussion. Some of those statues should come down and others possibly shouldn't. But I don't know where you draw the line.
Not so much the statues. I'm talking about going further to programs and content.
Oh, yeah, I don't think you make things disappear. No, I think it's an interesting point. Mark and I were talking about it the other day, particularly in the age of streaming, where I can understand how you take a program off because you don't wish to put it on BBC Two or whatever. That's one thing. But then to withdraw something from the archive so you can't get it, it seems to me potentially sinister.
It's Fahrenheit 451, isn't it? Just put a disclaimer maybe at the beginning, say this. I've noticed people are saying at a different time, it was, you know, it is now unacceptable, but at this period in history, this went on. Look, like we all watched Roots at school, you know, whatever. So this was amazing. Benetton's Colors magazine, Oliviero Toscani, incredible photographer, very provocative, very controversial. Our mutual friend, Ian Birch, has been, I think, posting stuff like this, but what if?
All right, yeah. So when was that?
That was in like 93-ish.
Uh-huh.
That's very good.
Yeah.
And then, you know, so this shouldn't be banned. This should be discussed, educated. This is a heavy advert here for the United Colors of Benetton.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Right.
I think I remember that.
And then I thought of you guys. I just literally grabbed some stuff yesterday. But again, riots, things go on, protests. This is almost like 30 years. The gig that sparked a race riot in Southall. Remember this?
God.
I do, yes.
So that, again, fascinating.
Yeah,
again,
enemy, very big part of that.
Big
cover of the coverage of Rock Against Racism and all that. It was really important stuff at the time.
But you see, with the magazines matter, it's like the detail of all this stuff. I mean, again, I'm getting a little bit, I'm just going to whiz through them because I know I'm conscious of time. Here, an Ebony magazine. I just found these yesterday and there's some fascinating stuff. Black Courage in Clan Country. It's just the detail, the context, the case studies. You know?
No, you're right. I mean, because there's nothing in... you know, there's no, if you were researching a subject like that, I don't know when that took place in the 60s or something, But if you're researching a subject like that, there's no point going and looking at what television did about it, because television wouldn't have done very much about it. There's no point looking at what newspapers did about it, because they just present it as a bunch of kind of news stories. It's a magazine that has the texture of the event and the time and the context and the reflection. It captures it better than anything else, you know. And we can still right now, you know, if you're doing a bit of research, you can go back and look at, you know, copies of Life or Ebony or whatever from 1975. But what are you going to do in 20 years' time when you're looking back on now? You know, what are you going to do? Go and find what YouTube was saying that night, or you know,
links die. You know,
all of that stuff is. At least you can go back and look at the whole thing in context, and you can make up your own mind based on all that information. But now it's just a series of very black and white bullet points, isn't it? And nothing on which to really build any kind of real understanding.
The real, you know, whatever history makes the future. Look at this one. This is heavy. The Negro in Cinema, a coloured actor from May '57.
Right.
And then it's just like.
Yeah,
gets so much detail, and you know,
well, you get a feeling from it, don't you?
Yeah, hold on, a couple more. That was a random art Spiegelman cover. Got in a lot of trouble for that.
Right.
In '93.
Oh, wow,
Tension in Brooklyn. Yeah, Crown.
When 1993.
Yeah.
I was saying Crown Heights. Yes.
All the tension there.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Trump yesterday. I found that one.
Oh.
And then, but then this is from 2000. Donald Trump takes on Washington, and then this is Millionaire magazine. There is also Billionaire magazine, yet to be Zillionaire. But we have the nice, you know, Trump for president.
Oh wow!
Back in 2000.
What date was that?
2000, January 2000. Right?
Yeah.
This is shocking. I've been a bit fucked. Oh, yeah, nearly there. We've done well. Mad obviously never did proper adverts. They satirized adverts. They were very aggressive against, you know, particularly the smoking industry.
Yeah.
The one I'm about to reveal at the end is insane. So that again, monuments.
And what's the monument? Tomb of the Unknown Smoker.
A mad national monument we'd like to see, the Tomb of the Unknown Smoker.
Wow.
But this, I mean, this I'm about to show you. So, can you see that?
Good God, extraordinary.
Right, and it says, "Hi,
I'm Adolf Hitler."
Yeah, it goes, "Hi, I'm Adolf Hitler. In the 30s and 40s, we knocked off millions of people and filled countless cemeteries. That's nothing. I want to talk about a really fantastic cemetery filler: cigarettes." Deep. Okay, this terrified me because I watched. You see the red coat? What do you think of when you see?
Oh, they don't look now. Yes.
Don't look now.
That's the scary thing I found yesterday. And there's a great Nick Rogue. It might still be on the iPlayer. Amazing 1 hour documentary. That guy is superb. And when they show you that scene of the girl drowning, you know, and Donald Sutherland like carrying her out, heavy. Okay.
It's very, very indeed. So, do you think they knew that they were doing that on the cover of Family Circle? Do you think the editor of Family Circle knew that was Don't Look Now?
When did Don't Look Now come out? 70s, right?
1971.
Yeah, early 70s.
Yeah.
This is 67, so maybe.
Oh, really?
Oh,
I see. It's the other way.
That'll be before.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay. And then just a nice little New Statesman, which again, very relevant now.
It's not always good for you.
Very good. What year was that?
That was, I think it was 87. Remember, I'm only showing you little covers. We're not going into detail due to time. Now, one more little section. I mean, these witch magazines. You know, I go on a lot about with the magazine. We go on about the data in there. You know, and you aggregate that. You put that through computers. The prices of everything. That, you know, it's amazing to see. You know, The Economist, that kind of stuff, when they value the Big Mac through countries. This, again, the same kind of thing. Taxis, the six mile limit, how they couldn't, you know, they didn't have to take you further than 6 miles. Just all that amazing information, just sort of electronically crunched is where it has to be.
It's the stuff that just that gets forgotten. When I was doing my 1971 book, this is ages ago, I was constantly, I did a thing about just trying to summon up what life was like at the time, and how it was different from life at the time the book was published. And so I was, you do the obvious things, like you could smoke everywhere, and the price of things, and everybody I asked, Mark, and I asked loads and loads of people, what can you remember about 1971? One thing that was then and has gone. And a neighbour of mine I was talking to at a party, I put this question to him, and he said, no spitting on buses. There used to be signs on buses saying no spitting. And I thought, God, that's brilliant. That is. Brilliant. That completely brings it back. And that kind of thing is not kept anywhere. You know what I mean? Those kind of...
It's the minutiae that's actually...
It's the tiniest little things.
It's that detail. Okay, last little thing. Thank you for your time and allowing me just to sort of expunge. An amazing lady. I urge everyone to Google her, Eda Tasiemka. So not only have I got, thankfully, although it can be a burden, is the world's largest collection of magazines, got some other amazing archives that we've integrated. Chatham House has given us all their archive of cuttings.
Oh, really? Okay.
Cross-section across all the world through the years is a great sort of barometer of what's gone. This lady's remarkable. She was called by Lynn Barber the Scissor Sister, the human Google, if you Google her. What she did, she had a business. It was a cuttings business where basically you wanted anything on spitting, buses, 1971, Naomi Campbell, there you go, early couple, whatever you wanted, she had a clippings file on. And when you go into it, it's mind-blowing. Again, not enough time. A lawyer came down to see our archive, and he said, literally, you take one of her folders, and it's like a PhD. Ian Birch came, it's on YouTube. He pulled out just one file on Beatles, because she'll have one on George Harrison, she'll have one on Paul McCartney, she'll have one on Yoko, she'll have one on The Split, she'll have one on Abbey Road. He pulled out the he pulled out the Beatles one, Ian, and again, it's online. He was snapping pictures for you, Mark, going, oh, Mark's just not going to go this. But look, we had literally, bizarrely, the other day, a request for a student. I'm doing a PhD on potatoes. So she has a file on this stuff.
Potato.
Fish and chips, everything. But, and here's just a couple I bought. Again, no time to really go through. Football. This was Bung's match fixing. This is a thick file. Scandal. Yeah.
So did you inherit this stuff?
I inherited this as well. And again, the dream is because this digitized is gold. Maxwell apparently and Eddie Shah, again, it's documented. They wanted to pay millions for this stuff. This is going in the mid 80s because it's got, we had someone come to us again, was writing a book on the craze, and we had stuff on the craze that was not publicly, deep stuff. There we go. I have done it. Thank you.
Well, that's been extraordinary.
Oh, no, sorry. So I know I've done completion because I wouldn't be. Just again, old Tatler.
Oh,
and it's nearly 120 years, is it? 19.
I was going to say, what's the oldest magazine you've got there? It probably is Tatler, isn't it?
1901, Fly One. That was your cover star.
Wow, it's a bit saucy.
Oldest mag is probably like 1800s, 1850.
The Spectator always claim that they're the oldest continuously published magazine. I think they do.
Right. Okay. Oh, British Journal of Photography. When did the Spectator start?
Well, I don't know. They always say that I don't know. They always say we are the longest continuously published.
Just wrapping up. Literally, I found she had one of these yesterday. This was the very.
That's the first issue of the Reborn, the Sun. Good morning.
We're on the cover with a very important front page news. BBC regret no Christmas cards, so they're stopping their Christmas cards. About that. I must just give a plug, if I may. Oh, sorry, and I'm looking down there. And thank you for your. This is one I always love to talk about. Two final ones. This was a great mag, 2600. Look how raw this is. This is just paper. This is 1984. Coincidentally, because of George Orwell. But this is a magazine all about hacking and surveillance and very good counterculture. Emmanuel Goldstein, taking his name from, I think, 1984. published this magazine. 2600 was basically the frequency. If you got Captain Crunch cereal, allegedly, and you got the whistle that was in the free whistle that came with this Captain, which again would be a nice little relic from your childhood. You blow this whistle down the phone and you get free phone calls because of the 2600 hertz it emits. But what I love is in this very first issue, I mean, it's very ballsy. He printed the direct numbers of everyone in the White House.
Oh, great.
Right? And their kind of vibe was, look, we're not doing anything bad. We're showing you flaws in the system. We're showing you there's problems. You should be, you know, that defense. But finally, if I may, because I'm, thank you, is I'm showing this. This was probably one of the magazines that gave me, well, this particular even issue gave me the bug for collecting, walking past Vintage Magazine Company in Brewer Street, which I remember, David, you did a very good piece in the face on.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Annie Posner.
Yeah.
Now, we're hoping to launch very, very soon, finally, digitally, a subscription platform. And the face is we've digitized the whole of the face. So you search it through keywords, through images, everything. And we're launching with the face. We're going to be doing a crowdfunding thing soon. So I'm just kind of ending with that.
We'll put a link to that in the notes under this. James, it's been extraordinary. It's been unprecedented, but I expected nothing less.
All that work you put into it is unbelievably impressive. What a journey.
Was the ego okay? That, to me...
The ego's fine. It's about personalities.
Yeah.
What they've got.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And we shall look forward to, we shall row across to Woolwich when this bloody war is over and come and see you again.
Would welcome it. Would welcome it.
Fantastic.
Very nice to see you.
Really impressive. Thanks so much. All right, James.
Alex, if you got...